Hello and welcome to Liverpool as you join us live to celebrate the 175th anniversary of the Cunard line. Over the next 90 minutes we'll witness the most incredible ship manoeuvres that Mersey has ever seen. We'll take a look back at Cunard's 175 years of fascinating history, and we'll take a peek on board the Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth and Queen Mary II. Now joining me today is Paul O'Loughlin. Paul?
Hello Tris, hello everyone, good afternoon to you and welcome to... You can hear the ship's whistle going already, Tris. A historic day for Cunard. What a joy to be here.
Great to have you, Paul. Paul is Entertainment Director of Queen Mary II. Now, across the other side of the Mersey is Rachel. Rach, how's it going?
Yes, it's going absolutely brilliantly down here. Everybody's very excited. Someone just said, here they come, here they come. A few hours ago, of course, Queen Mary II just left her berth and everybody literally went, woo! Just at that. So goodness knows what's going to happen when those beautiful ships start dancing. I bet Andrew Hall, the choreographer, is very excited. I've heard of him wearing leg warmers and jazz shoes for some time, actually, the last 18 months, while he was making sure that this was the perfect day. So exciting to be here in Liverpool. Everybody can't wait. I wish I was on board, though. Throwing back to you, Tris.
Thank you, Rach. Well, we can't wait, can we?
Absolutely. She looks very Cunard in a Cunard red, doesn't she?
She's very red, isn't she?
Fantastic.
It does look fantastic over there. The atmosphere is building. We're expecting over 1.5 million people here today. And to get a great bird's eye view of the crowd, let's take a look at the shot from our helicopter. There you go. We can see the fleet here, Paul, leading.
Leading, of course, Queen Elizabeth, the second largest Cunard ever built, our newest queen, and doesn't she look magnificent?
Looks magnificent. Closely followed there by Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria, slightly smaller, around about the 90,000 ton mark, a sensational liner. And then, of course, the flagship, Queen Mary II.
Queen Mary II. What a beautiful shot that is as they make their way along the Mersey.
Creating history, the first time that three queens have made their way up this majestic river in this magnificent city.
And they're performing a dance together. So let's have a look at what the three queens will be doing today. So as you can see, the river. So what the plan is, that the three queens will make their way along the river, as we just said. Queen Elizabeth leading, followed by Queen Victoria, and then Queen Mary II. They're going to reach a point just behind us where they're going to come to a halt. They're then going to perform a 180-degree turn, as you can see there. Obviously, that's a lot faster than they'll be doing it.
I mean, the ships are very fast, but that is a little... And of course, the tide is just flooding at the moment. So, what never been seen before, Tris. Never been seen before.
And I think the great thing is we can see, actually, Queen Elizabeth making her way down now.
Absolutely
there we go.
Behind us. Isn't that fantastic?
Incredible. And when they make that 180-degree turn, they'll actually stay static for a while, won't they, Paul? So they won't move?
Absolutely. With the modern technology of the ASI-pods, the thrusters and the navigational equipment, they can turn these fantastic ships on a dime, as they say in America.
We make it sound so simple, but we can assure you it's not simple at all.
That's why we're not driving today. Yes.
Now, Paul, it's been a fantastic year for Cunard, hasn't it? In fact, it's been a fantastic 175 years for Cunard.
Absolutely. This wonderful company, to think way back in 1840, when Britannia swung away from the Coburg dock here on July the 4th, 1840. One of the world's greatest fleets was born, and very different in those days. I mean, Britannia, she was very small, not like these fantastic queens today. She carried 115 first-class passengers, only 89 crew, and of course carried that North Atlantic mail that started the great tradition 175 years ago of carrying mail across the North Atlantic. Very different those days. There were, as well as a lot of water in the Atlantic, a lot of water in the ship. A famous quotation from a Cunard captain, there was some water coming down a staircase on the original Britannia, and a passenger was at the bottom, and she called the captain over and complained that the water was coming down the staircase. And in true Cunard tradition, the captain said, "Thank you for your comments, madam, but we'd be worried if the water was going up the staircase." Great history in the company, of course, remembering all the troops that were carried over from America on the Queens, and as Churchill credited that with shortening World War II by at least a year. So unrivaled history, the real stuff of maritime legend, and culminating today our 175th celebrations here in the spiritual home of Cunard, of course, the great city of Liverpool.
Really is an incredible event, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Amazing event. So let's talk more about the fleet today, really. So as we can see behind us, we've got Queen Elizabeth just going through the shot now. So let's talk more about the fleet and what we can see here.
Well, Queen Elizabeth, of course, she's the second, as I said, second largest Cunard ever built.
May God bless her and all who sail in her.
Wonderful royal connections, of course, with Cunard, very special to Cunard, and Her Majesty the Queen there naming Queen Elizabeth on that very special day. Absolutely sensational. Known for her elegance and her modern features.
I name the ship Queen Victoria. May God bless her and all who sail in her.
That's Her Royal Highness, Duchess of Cornwall, in the presence of His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, christening Queen Victoria. And of course, Queen Victoria is the first ship ever to have private boxes in the theatre.
Oh, really?
So that was the first, and they're beautiful, beautiful theatres, and a much-loved Queen in our
Queen
fleet.
Elizabeth. May God bless her and all who sail in her.
Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful shots. And you can hear the horn, or the whistle as you call it.
Well, I think whistle is the true term, and there you see with, of course, the water tugs, of course, in salute to Queen Elizabeth as she leads the fleet up the Mersey. And of course, in command of Queen Elizabeth today is Commodore Christopher Rind.
Christopher Rind, yes, we'll come to Commodore Christopher Rind in a minute. But let's take a look at the shots from our helicopter. There we go, you can see the three queens slowly making their way down now. You can look at the sheer, you get an idea of the sheer scale, the size of these ships as they make their way down the Mersey. There's Queen Victoria. All the guests on the bow. It must be amazing for the guests.
Well, what a very special day it is for the guests. Anytime the three queens are together, but to be actually on board one of the queens here in the Mersey, of course, it's as well for the crowds. I mean, look at these fantastic crowds.
Look at the crowds on both sides of the Mersey.
Absolutely, and to think the amount of Cunard tonnage in the Mersey today. Queen Mary II, 150,000 tonnes. Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria, 90,000 tonnes, all in this very tight space, and history has been made today.
History has been made today, and the weather is good. So
absolutely,
far.
absolutely. We don't have any wood here, but we're touching everything. No, Liverpool has done us proud today.
So we can see there from the shots that they're slowly making their way up to the spot where they're going to come to a slow halt and make their 180-degree turn. This will be a unique spectacle to witness here on the Mersey. And behind us now, Queen Victoria is just coming into vision. So we can see Queen Victoria. And of course, it's a big event. Christopher Rind, we caught up with.
The meeting of the three
says.
Queens on the River Mersey in Liverpool on the 25th of May will be an unprecedented spectacle. It will involve all three queens proceeding up from the entrance to the Mersey, led by the Queen Elizabeth. They will then be in line ahead, off the Cunard building, and then carry out a synchronized turn in the river. There may be other events to follow, but all of this has been the result of many months of planning, evaluation, and testing on simulators and in practice what the capabilities of the ship are within that constrained environment. Now, the Cunarders are very maneuverable vessels. They all have what's called azipod propulsion systems and powerful thrusters, and very good electronics for predicting movements of the ships. But nevertheless, an event of this sort, within the tight restrictions of the river itself, which is tidal, the winds that may be experienced on the day, and all the other factors that may come into play, will make it a challenging event that must be carefully planned and controlled to be that spectacle it is intended to be. The three queens will proceed up the River Mersey with 400 metres of spacing, Queen Elizabeth first, then Queen Victoria, then the Queen Mary II. They will then stop in the river with the Queen Mary II right opposite the Cunard building and conduct a synchronised turn to starboard. Then reform and line ahead, facing downriver. Now all of this has been practiced and assessed, subject to risk assessments for all possible contingencies, to make sure that it is safe as well as a spectacular event.
Commodore Christopher Rinder. Now tell me, is he a Commodore, is it the same as in the Navy? Is it the same or is it slightly different?
Every merchant fleet has a Commodore. The Commodore is the senior captain of the fleet. So at the moment, Cunard's Commodore is Commodore Christopher Rinder. So he's the captain, the master of the vessel, but he's the senior captain of the Cunard fleet. And instead of wearing the four stripes with a diamond, he wears a full gold band, and that signifies the Commodore of the Cunard fleet.
And I guess from seeing that VT, the chat there, that we can't underestimate the sheer magnitude of the event today and the planning that's actually gone into this.
Well, the seamanship throughout the years and the class of our bridge, engine, deck teams, this is the culmination of a lot of planning, and I recognise that whistle I'm hearing now. That's Queen Mary II. I can hear it. It's unusual for me to be actually looking from the shore to the ship, but it's what a sensational experience today. Liverpool must be very proud.
And here she comes in the background. If you'd like to contact us on Twitter, the hashtag is, you should see it on the screen there, #3Queens. Tweet away, and we'll be reading your tweets out later in the show. #3Queens on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you, so please tweet, and we'll read some of those tweets out later in the show. Let's have a look at the crowds now from the helicopter shot. Look at that. That is absolutely incredible. Over 1.5 million people due to be here today. I think we're probably at maximum capacity now. Look at that. Amazing.
We'd love to have a Twitter from anyone on the shore of the Mersey. Of course, anyone on board as well. Any of our guests who are on board looking at these fantastic crowds here in Liverpool today. We'd love to hear from you.
So behind us, Queen Mary II is making her way along the Mersey. That's a fantastic shot, Paul. Look at this shot here. We can see the three queens making their way along now.
The countdown to this event, Liverpool and everyone involved with Cunard, past, present and future, have been looking forward to this day. Absolutely wonderful. And of course, in command of Queen Mary II, Captain Christopher Wells.
Captain Christopher Wells, who we caught up with yesterday.
What a joy to come into the centre of a city, an important city for Cunard Line, the city where Samuel Cunard created the company 175 years ago. And with the berth right in the centre, our guests are able to go out and enjoy everything that Liverpool has to offer. And of course, the people of Liverpool can come down and see the ship. And of course, when tomorrow the big day comes and we have all three ships in here, I'm quite sure the waterfront is going to be packed as everybody comes to enjoy the spectacle tomorrow. It's going to be a great day.
Captain Christopher Wells. Rachel, how's it going over there?
It's fantastic, actually. People are so excited. You know, I heard a little girl, and she said, "That's the biggest ferry I've ever seen." It's brilliant, and people are very excited. The ships look absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing sight. Back to you, Tris.
Thank you, Rachel. I'd love to be over there, wouldn't you? Amongst the crowds.
Absolutely, and I got into Liverpool last evening, and the anticipation and the excitement, the wonderful light show here last evening, and everybody's just talking about Cunard. It's fantastic.
Because Cunard is so much part of the history of Liverpool, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Spiritual home, and going back to 1840, and it's still, the feeling is still strong today, and you look at the Cunard building there, which we'll be talking about later in the show this afternoon, but it's I can hear my heart beating. Absolutely.
With excitement.
Excitement, yes. And pride.
Beautiful shot here of Queen Mary 2. You can see the crowds of passengers on deck. What a unique occasion as well for the passengers.
On board, they'll all be, most of them probably be drinking champagne, I would think, on the aft ends of all the three queens today. I know Queen Mary 2 there, the terrace bar, the champagne will be flowing, and absolutely fantastic.
Amazing shots.
Now actually Queen Mary 2's whistle, the starboard side whistle, is on the funnel, is the original whistle from the original Queen Mary, and it was presented to Queen Mary 2 in the shipyard, made by Kockums from Sweden, and a replica was built for the port side. So the original Queen Mary is with us today. We're hearing the sound of the original Queen Mary, so that's very special too.
That is very special. Now I believe when they perform their 180-degree turn, that they're going to sound the whistle. 3 blasts, 1, 7, 5.
Absolutely.
Which is actually 1 blast, 7 blasts, and 5 blasts.
So there's choreography on the water and choreography in the air. Only Cunard could do this.
So behind us, we can see the Queen Mary. If we take a look from our helicopter now, look, now we can see, I believe, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong here, that they're starting to make their turn, aren't they?
Absolutely, you can see them coming slightly to starboard now.
So Queen Elizabeth is leading that formation right now. She is turning. She's beginning her 180-degree turn. Remember, this is not as simple as parking your car in the local car park. They've got tides to compete with, wind to compete with.
And to think the length of the ships, Queen Mary 2 is 1,132 feet long, and Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth 964.5 feet long.
Oof.
And the width of the Mersey, and there's that whistle you can hear, that's Queen Mary 2's whistle.
Is that the one?
That's the one.
The one. So we should shortly hear 7. We might not be able to talk at that point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you won't hear us.
But again, very tight manoeuvring, and we say choreography, and it is choreography because the planning and all the work with the local pilots and the harbour authority here, which has worked out well in advance, as Commodore Rind was saying, and it's like watching a beautiful maritime ballet.
So the local pilots actually just talked me through this, Paul. The local pilots come on board to guide the ships through this particular channel here, is that right?
Absolutely, they'll come on at the pilot station, and but they would have been working on their own simulators of the manoeuvres and the moves that will be happening today with the three queens, and they've been working closely with each of the masters of each of the ships and the Commodore. It's like putting a West End show on, you know, rehearse, 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 and this is the performance, curtain up here today.
And of course there's a lot of, as you can see in the background here, there's a lot of traffic, other traffic on the Mersey. So I guess one of the key issues is keeping those boats away from the Cunard fleet.
Absolutely. Well, the Liverpudlians on the water, they know what they're doing. They've seen steamships and queens and everything come in and out of the Mersey a lot, so I don't think there'll be any issues there today. I think, especially with the size of the three queens today.
So if we can have a look behind us to see how far, so they're still making the turn very slowly, very slow manoeuvre. You can see Queen Elizabeth turning, leading the fleet at the moment. And Queen Mary 2 is yet to turn. She's still following Queen Victoria.
And of course the timing today is very important. Obviously the tide is just flooding. The depth under the keel of Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth is around 20 feet, but Queen Mary 2, built as a traditional ocean liner, she has a much deeper draft. She'll be about close to 30 feet under the water line. So obviously draft is very important here today. So
Okay, well, we'd love to hear from you. Please tweet or Twitter us, hashtag 3Queens. We'll be reading out some of your Twitters later in the show. Hashtag 3Queens is trending in the UK. In fact, I think we might have some tweets now. Let's have a look.
it's trending number 2 in the UK.
Trending
at the moment,
number
I think.
2.
That's fantastic.
Here we go.
Keep them coming.
in a square in Bruges, glued, oh, missed that one, watching it via live stream all the way from the Philippines. Can't wait, fantastic. So we're getting tweets from all around the world.
I wonder what will be the furthest tweets from the furthest points.
Should we go for one from Australia? If you're watching in Australia, if you're up in the middle of the night, make sure, tweet us, #3Queens. We'd love to hear from you. And as Paul said earlier, if you're on board one of the fleet today, please tweet us. We'd love to hear from you if you're on board. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a wonderful thing about Cunard. It is recognised as the line of the world. Queen Mary 2, the only ocean liner. I always say flagship of Cunard and flagship to the world.
No. Amazing shot there. So, Rach would like to find out, how's it going across the river?
It's brilliant. You can see all these people here are just waiting patiently. And we just can't wait to see the next thing, really. So many people, I'm sure, would like to be on board right now. And I'm thinking the people on board as well are just seeing the most amazing thing they will remember for years. This is a spiritual home, of course, isn't it, for Cunard? And it's really quite emotional. There are lots of people. You can sense that they are feeling very happy and excited and emotional. I saw one lady and she literally had tears rolling down her face as she saw the ships coming in. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. I'm going to throw it back to you now, Tris, to hear more about today and what's happening.
Rach, I'd love to know, how many people do you think are on the bank on your side?
Oh, I don't know. Hundreds, thousands of people all here. And they've been here all morning, gradually coming in over the morning and just waiting. And it's amazing because a lot of people won't be able to see a lot, but it doesn't matter. They just want to be part of it. They want to be part of this magical, magical moment, which is just brilliant. Back to you, Tris.
Thank you, Rach. We saw photographs and news reports earlier of people camping out first thing in the morning, ready to get the best view, I think.
Absolutely, and on the Wirral side, just where we're filming from, you just look down both sides and it's just absolutely packed. It's fantastic.
Now, talking about actually our hashtag 3Queens, that communications on the Cunard fleet, they've got quite a few firsts, haven't they, for communications over the years?
Absolutely. QE2 was the first ship to have an email address. QE2 was the first ship to do a ship-to-shore live broadcast. So Cunard have been at the forefront of communications at sea right the way through their history.
And your role as Director of Entertainment's Director, you must... How does that fit in with communications as such? Are you all over that?
Well, in years ago, when we used to go on transatlantics, we used to get television reception just for the first day out of Southampton, and then we'd lose it, and you'd get it the first day, the day before you arrived in New York. Transatlantic, you've got to try a transatlantic. It's a journey, a classic journey that everyone should own in their travel passport and travel wallet as a transatlantic.
Well, that's very interesting. So tell me, for those people that don't know, transatlantic compared to a cruise. So Queen Mary 2 compared to Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria, they're different purposes.
Absolutely. Well, like I say, a transatlantic is a journey. It is, you're retracing the steps of history, and it's such a unique atmosphere. And the amount of times I hear guests who are trying a transatlantic for the first time, and it's normally the husbands that say, "Oh, I'll be bored, I'll be bored, I'll be bored." We sail under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, as many emigrants did over the years. I think nearly 11 million emigrants, and I think nearly 9 million left from Liverpool. So retracing the steps of time, the atmosphere, the elegance, it's magical. The transatlantic voyage is magical, and when you sail under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge and past the Statue of Liberty on the port side, Manhattan just coming into view as the sun rises, it is magical. It is magical. Everyone should do it.
So we're not in Manhattan right now, Paul, but we can see there from that fantastic helicopter shot that the 3 Queens are, I'm just going to have to look over my shoulder actually, still commencing their turn.
Absolutely. Still
commencing their turn.
Obviously, the wind is very important today, and the wind is being our friend at the moment. Of course, if you just think of the Queen Mary 2, there's nearly 3.5 acres of windage. So that is a sail of 3.5 acres on the side. So everything is meticulously put into operation. You can hear Queen Mary II's whistle once again sounding and saluting Liverpool, because today is a salute. Today is a salute to, yes. And of course the crew. We mentioned from the hashtag there, and keep those hashtags coming in from the Philippines.
Australia, please.
Australia as well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Australia. But what a great day for the crew as well. The crew, they collect these moments, and it's absolutely fantastic for each and every member of the crew of each of these wonderful ships.
So, if you're on board, Paul, now, what would you be doing? How would you be soaking up the atmosphere?
Well, I would be. Obviously, there will be music. There'll be parties on.
You'll be working, basically.
I'll be working. Yes, yes. Not enjoying myself like today.
They're turning, Paul. Sorry,
Yes.
they're turning now. You can see more of the turn. This is a great shot here, looking right down the Mersey.
Now you are witnessing Cunard history here. This is three queens actually performing a manoeuvre
Ballet.
such as this, a ballet. It is a first. You're witnessing history today here on the Mersey in Liverpool. Send us those hashtags.
Please do. Hashtag 3 Queens, wherever you are in the world. If you're watching us live now, please contact us. We'll read out your tweets later if we can. So, for something like this, obviously we said it's a major event, lots of planning has gone into it. How are the captains communicating right now?
Well, captains and pilots, of course, the captains and the pilots, as we said, be working very closely. They will all be on one channel on the UHF, and they will all be in touch. And obviously they will be taking distance readings all the time between the three ships, and also on the port and starboard side to the shore. So a lot of communication going on at the moment. Obviously the three masters in control, very important today, the pilots here on the Mersey, and so a beautiful choreographed ballet. And
It's a
look at
lovely
that
shot. Look at that shot. That's a fantastic shot. Absolutely wonderful. So it's synchronized here.
Absolutely.
So if we're looking at the shot now from the helicopter, we can see, I think actually they've almost completed their turn apart from Queen Elizabeth. So at the halfway point of this turn, this 180-degree turn, we'll hear the horns, the whistles.
Absolutely.
And how fitting is that the Queen Mary II is right in front of the Cunard
building. If Samuel Cunard is looking down now, and I hope he is, he would look down in pride. The largest and greatest ocean liner ever built in history, in front of its spiritual home there, the Cunard building.
That's a lovely picture there, isn't it? Almost like a painting. I think absolutely beautiful picture. We can see. If we take a look now in the helicopter, still waiting for Queen Elizabeth to finish her part of the turn. And here we go, there's a close-up of Queen Victoria. I think we can we make out the crowds on the bow there, Paul? We can look at the people. That's
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now, leading up to these events, the guests would be they'd be working out, they'd be talking the cocktail bars the evening before of where are you going to watch tomorrow, and where's going to be the best vantage point. And Cunard World Club members, of course, who've sailed with us many times, they will know the best spots on the ship. But here today, I think the most popular vantage points probably would be at the forward end, the bow end there, and of course also on the stern as well, and also along the promenade decks as well. And I think there's going to be a lot of photos taken today.
A lot of photos, but isn't it wonderful that people on board can actually contact their relatives at home and say, watch us live now?
Absolutely.
Isn't that great? So the crowds are stretching right down the bank there. You can see almost as far as you can see in that picture. amazing shot. Nearly halfway through the turn, aren't they? Nearly halfway.
And of course, Cunard ships, as well as looking and keeping the tradition of the past, in the building of these ships, they're so advanced. I mean, they are podded ships. Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth are 2 podded ships, and Queen Mary II, of course, is the first 4-podded ship in history. And along the Bathurst, they're so manoeuvrable and so technologically advanced as well. So Cunard, in everything in the guest experience, we look to the past, but we are always looking to the future.
So very shortly, you may not hear us because they'll be sounding their horns. The 175, 1 blast, 7 blasts, 5 blasts. Should happen any minute now. Lovely close up there of Queen Mary II. You can see all the guests on the front. I wish we could get away from them. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Look at that bow, the bow of Queen Mary II. And a lot of the crew will be there as well, of course. A big day for the crew as well.
If you are watching this from anywhere in the world and you have a relative or someone you know on one of these ships right now, text them and tell them to tweet us, #3Queens.
You can hear the 175 horns now. What an unbelievable sight.
I think we just heard the sounding of the horns.
We'd like to thank the helicopter pilot for hovering directly above us.
Yes. So they are halfway. They've just completed the halfway point of the 180-degree turn. So they'll pause there for a while. Rachel, how's it going on your side of the river? I bet it's fantastic, isn't it? Rachel, how's it going on your side of the river? I bet it's fantastic, isn't it?
It's incredible. They sort of float, don't they, and glide. It's incredible when you just sort of see them. I don't know how they, what's the word, drive them? I don't know what the proper word is. But it's just amazing. And all those people on the ship as well. Oh, they must be looking out. People are looking at them. Incredible. Thousands and thousands of people lining the street. Just amazing. Let me see if I can grab someone. Come here, young man.
Yeah.
Why are you here today?
Something to do with the 3 Queens, I think.
Something to do with the 3 Queens. Have you been on board?
No.
Oh, you must do. You must go on board one day.
Say again?
Which one would you like to go on?
I'm on any of them.
Any of them. We need to get this man on board. Back to you, Tris.
Thank you, Rach. It looks fantastic over there. Everybody just enjoying the event, witnessing the halfway point of the turn. Let's take a look at our shots from the helicopter. You can see now they've moved beyond the halfway point of the turn. They're turning back round to face the opposite way. Very slowly, but with such precision and such planning. Months and months of planning, discussions, support from the City of Liverpool. This truly incredible occasion. You can see on your screen there, lots of little craft coming out to take in this amazing occasion. Obviously they're staying well away from the fleet.
What
Look at that for a shot.
Look at that. And of course the red arrows to come as well. It just gets better and better.
The red arrows will be on their way.
Now you look at the way the captains are manoeuvring the ships in unison, to use a musical term. Absolutely sensational. And looking back, it was Mark Twain who once said, of course, a very dry sense of humour. He said, the folks at Cunard wouldn't appoint Noah himself as captain until he had worked his way up the ranks. And I tell you what, we're very proud of our captains, our masters, and they're showing their magnificent competence today in this fantastic maritime ballet.
It's a maritime ballet. Here we go. And you can see now they've nearly 3/4 of the way through the turn. So this will mean that Queen Mary II will be at the front, followed by Queen Victoria, who you can see now, and then Queen Elizabeth. So
now I can tell you, Tris, that's not one of ours.
that wasn't one of yours.
That's a salute from I think the ferry berthed alongside there. So that's very kind of them. Yes. Yeah.
Look at the thousands of people, both sides of the river. You can see all the ships in the water. This really is a unique event, and every minute should be savoured. Cunard loves Liverpool. Liverpool loves Cunard. Tell me about that very special relationship.
Well, historically, of course, it's a great relationship, and it's a relationship that continues. Of course, Cunard ships still call here when they are round Britain cruising, and so many Liverpudlians come on the ship as well. I mean, they love Cunard. They love Cunard.
There's a shot of Queen Elizabeth. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. You can see the sheer size of her, can't you, in that shot?
Absolutely.
Really.
One thing with size, I mean, the space ratio of guests to the size of the ships, you know, is excellent. It's unparalleled in the industry. It's spacious luxury. It's fantastic.
There you go. You see Queen Mary II leading now. See the crowds, the passengers on the bow of the ship and lining the sides, the port and starboard side.
Now everyone will be out on deck. I can honestly say, I'll be very surprised if any guest is in their stateroom at the moment. Obviously, with the amount of balconies as well, there'll be a lot of guests out on their wonderful balconies, which of course is a wonderful modern advancement in cruising, is the fantastic balconies. And
we must also remember that while we're enjoying this spectacle and the thousands of people along the banks are enjoying this spectacle, lots of people are working very hard at this point, aren't they, to make it happen?
Absolutely. And of course, everyone still has to be fed. All our housekeeping staff still have to, but they will be out at some point enjoying these fantastic scenes.
So we have a surprise for you today, because not only are the fleet, or did the fleet perform a 180-degree turn, but they're going to do something else. They're going to do something very, very special for you today. Again, another unique moment. So you can see what's going to happen is the ships are going to form an arrow with Queen Mary II leading, Queen Victoria on one side, Queen Elizabeth on the other. So the bow of Queen Mary II should be in line with the Cunard building. Is that right, Paul?
Absolutely. This is called an arrowhead formation, and then we go to the three abreast. Again, a first, absolute first.
So that's a first, and that's a surprise as well. We kept that one quiet.
We kept that one quiet.
Kept it secret.
Well, we tried to keep it quiet, so hopefully we did.
But it is going to happen in a minute. So we can see some amazing crowd shots now from our helicopter. Look at that, incredible. Absolutely amazing. And as Rachel said earlier, for a lot of people, it's a very emotional experience. Rachel, how's it going over there? How are the crowd?
Well, the crowds are huge. You know, there's a real sense of pride. That's what's nice, I think, at the moment. There's this big sense of pride with the association, of course, with Cunard and Liverpool, and that's what's so lovely. And whenever Cunard ships are here or passing through, there's always huge crowds, much bigger crowds for Cunard than any other ship, which is just wonderful. And of course today, no difference whatsoever, even bigger crowds. It really is. He's very excited, clearly. By the way, I've been told as well that when you drive a ship, it's called piloting the ship. That's what you do, you pilot a ship. Maybe they're running to try and get on board, I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to make it, though, because as you can see, the ships are now in the middle of the Mersey. Okay, I'm going to go back now to Tris. I'll tell you what, Tris, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I wish I was on board. How do I get on there right now? Could that helicopter come and pick me up, do you think? Let's ring him.
You'll have to swim, Rach. You'll have to swim across.
And of course, today we must remember QE2, because when QE2 sailed up the Mersey for the first time, like today, you know, a million turned out to see her. So we remember that great ship. And you look at the crowds today; it's just that same wonderful feeling.
And what makes Queen Mary II so very special?
Well, Queen Mary II, the only ocean liner in the world. That's why she's unique with her design, her deep draft, her very long bow. So she cuts through the North Atlantic
We can
swells.
see her now. Paul, there she is.
You just look at it. She does. She looks like an oil painting, and she's absolutely unique.
No, I had never been on Queen Mary II before. I went on her yesterday. This is what I found. Hello, fellas. How are you? So here I am on board Queen Mary II. It's my first time ever on board, and the first thing that strikes you is the sheer size of the ship. She really is magnificent. There are restaurants on board, there are bars, there's a gym, there's a spa, there's a casino, and there are even kennels. So when Samuel Cunard started the company 175 years ago, I bet he never dreamt of anything like this. Queen Mary II really does offer everything in terms of style, sophistication, elegance, luxury, you name it, she offers it. And the one thing I've really noticed about being on board is how calm it is. There are thousands of people here on this ship, but it just feels very relaxed, very tranquil almost. So to give you some idea of the sheer size of this ship, take a look at this map. Okay, so we're here on deck 11, right up here, okay? If you look down here, you can see there's a planetarium. Yes, there is a planetarium on board. It's the only one at sea. As we move along down the ship, there's a theatre. Moving further down, there's a casino. There are more bars, there's restaurants. There's the Britannia restaurant. And we move backwards, there's the Queen's room. Then up the top, there's the kennels. But to give you an idea of the sheer scale, take a look down this corridor. This is the Britannia restaurant, the largest restaurant here on Queen Mary II. Now, as you can see, everyone's tucking into their food right now, and the food is known to be some of the best food out there on the sea. And sadly, I don't get the time to try any. Now, the restaurant is named after Britannia, the first Cunard ship to make the first scheduled transatlantic crossing 175 years ago. And in fact, the restaurant is so large, you could fit the original Britannia in here. This is the Queen's room. It's the largest ballroom and dance floor at sea, and it's where the captain holds his cocktail parties. It's located towards the rear of the ship, and just look at the size of it. It's not until you walk around the open decks of Queen Mary II that you get a real feel for the sheer scale and size of the ship. The beautiful teak decking, the sleek line. She really is evocative of the golden days of true ocean liners. The Queen Mary II really is the height of luxury. She's beautiful, she's elegant, she's sophisticated, yet she's relaxed. And I'm delighted I've had a chance to look around her. And I hope one day, in my dreams, I'll get to do a transatlantic crossing on her. One day. Well, I hope it came across in that short film there, but I was absolutely amazed when I went on Queen Mary II yesterday, purely because the scale and also how relaxed, as I said, very, very relaxing.
It is very refined, very relaxing. There's so much going on as well too. From say a transatlantic, we have a company from London's Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, where guests can actually learn how to act with a professional actor and enjoy RADA productions. And Queen Mary II has such special events, a lot of events coming up. The National Symphony Orchestra Voyages coming up in September, where guests can actually sing with the National Symphony Orchestra. Our Cunard Insights programme, the stars and dignitaries that are part of the programme You can hear some fantastic keynote speakers. F.W. de Klerk, former president of South Africa, was just on board. Stars such as James Taylor, Sting recently performed.
Amazing.
On Queen Mary 2. We have Crosby, Stills and Nash coming up soon, which you can find out about on this website. So just unique, special moments that happen on board Cunard ships that don't happen anywhere else.
Well, we've got some tweets coming in for you. Hashtag 3 Queens. Please tweet us wherever you are in the world. We've got one from Orlando, Florida. Just missed it. Australia. We've got it. Watching from Australia. Fantastic. That's the furthest tweet we've had, isn't it?
Absolutely. Send us some of your sunshine, Australia.
Dallas. We've got one coming from Dallas there. Great to watch the live feeds. My family are on the prom. An expat from Texas. Look at that. There you go. It's a very distinctive funnel there.
Of course, the Cunard funnel, very distinctive, going way back in history. I think that Cunard only went away from that funnel on QE2 once, but that didn't last too long. Such an iconic site, and to see 3 Cunard funnels on the Mersey
Incredible.
today.
So you can see from this aerial shot that they're gradually making their way to the arrowhead formation. Queen Mary 2 will be leading with Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth on either side. The bow, I think, of the Queen Mary 2 will be in line with the Cunard building. They're the sisters together. Look, that is a shot, isn't it?
And her Queen Mary 2's 2 baby sisters. Of course, Queen Elizabeth is slightly newer, and she's a little more tonnage in Queen Elizabeth than there is in Queen Victoria, but both sensational ships and so popular with our guests. And you look at all those guests on there. What an experience! They remember this forever.
Well, it's
forever.
once in a lifetime, isn't it? Really,
Absolutely.
Something like this. So we're seeing them here together on the Mersey for the first time, aren't we? But what about any other meetings of the 3 Queens?
Well, there hasn't been that many, so that's what makes today so special, Tris. The first one was in New York, 13th of January in 2008, and in New York that day were Queen Mary 2, the QE2, and Queen Victoria. So that was the first meeting of the 3 Queens. The second was in Southampton, a very special day on the 5th of June 2012 to celebrate Her Majesty the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. The 3 Queens, Queen Mary 2, Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth saluted Her Majesty the Queen's Diamond Jubilee with a sensational day in Southampton, of big fireworks there. And then the 9th of May 2014, Queen Mary 2's 10th birthday, her 10th anniversary, and the 3 Queens met in Southampton Water, and we were very honoured that His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh came on board and met a lot of guests and a lot of crew as well. It was so special that he wanted to meet as many of the crew as possible. And then, leading up to today, the culmination of 175 years and the 3 Queens here in the Mersey, moving closer and closer to that special diamond formation.
They are moving closer. Much closer to that formation now. And let's not forget as well, the Red Arrows will be joining us just after 1:51 to be precise. So let's talk more about the heritage of the fleet and Cunard.
Well, Cunard, days like today, I don't know any other line just doesn't celebrate the way Cunard does. But the one thing that does make Cunard so special is its remembrance, and it never forgets its wonderful past. Cunard has a fantastic future, but its heritage and its past is always recognised. And remembering heritage, this year, the 100th anniversary of the sinking of Cunard's flagship, the Lusitania, was remembered with a special voyage on Queen Victoria, which sailed to Cove in Ireland. It was around about 2 weeks ago, and remembering all those lost when the ship was torpedoed in World War I. So history is very important to Cunard, and I think that's why it makes Cunard so special.
Let's take a look now at our shots from the sky. We're slightly higher now in this shot. You can see that's a fantastic shot. So the arrowhead is slowly starting to form. You can see Queen Mary II at the tip of the arrowhead, Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth, making their way up slowly to join Queen Mary II. Now remember, once they've formed the arrowhead, they are then going to go 3 abreast.
Absolutely, and you think the size of the ships and how close they will be in this arrowhead formation. The captains, I think, will bless them. They will be earning their crust today.
I think I read somewhere, I might be wrong, we can find out later during the show, that at the point when they're 3 abreast, they're going to be 130 metres apart each. 130 metres apart. So that's pretty incredible, isn't it? So let's not forget, they're actually midway through journeys at the moment, aren't they?
Our guests are enjoying some wonderful voyages. Queen Victoria. The voyage is all about this event today. She is on a 4-day voyage. She headed out to St Peter Port in Guernsey. She's here in Liverpool today, then she'll be heading back south to Southampton. The QE2 is on a wonderful voyage, a 16-day Baltic voyage. She's taken in some fantastic ports, and that's the one great thing about a voyage. You can enjoy the wonderful, wonderful ships themselves and some wonderful ports of call. And our guests on QE today have enjoyed Oslo, Copenhagen, Tallinn, St Petersport, Warnemünde, Kirkwall, Liverpool, and they'll be heading back to Southampton when they leave Liverpool. Queen Mary II has had a 10-day round Britain and Ireland. She's enjoyed Cove, Dublin, Greenock, Oban, today in Liverpool. Then when she leaves after this wonderful maritime ballet, she'll be heading to St Peter Port, Guernsey, and then she'll be heading back to Southampton.
There you go, Paul. You can see the shots there. Almost in that arrow formation now. So, how have the guests been celebrating 175 years of the Cunard line? What have they been up to?
Well, like I say, Cunard is they come up with so many wonderful things in celebration, and I've written a few things down now of what our guests on board will be enjoying this full year. So if you want to come and join us on board any Cunard ship this year, you'll be enjoying celebrated gala dinners with special menus. There is that wonderful, I think it's a deep A tone there from Queen Mary II. 175th themed gala black, red and gold balls, 175th trivias, the special Graham's Port, a new house wine for the 175th. Also the Commodore Club, and a lot of our guests who have been in the Commodore Club today, they may be enjoying the 175th Cunard martini, which is made with Liverpool distilled gin. There we go. I didn't know they distilled gin.
Can we try one of those later?
In Liverpool, hopefully, if all goes well. Of course, Cunard's famed afternoon White Star tea service and our Veuve Clicquot afternoon tea service. Special, beautiful pastries have been made by our fantastic culinary team. Sparkatino photo teams have created 175 events and also memorabilia, themed gifts that our guests will be taking home with them to remember this wonderful year. 175th guest room stationery, and if you post your post on board to be sent off in any of the ports, there will be specially franked, each letter or postcard will be specially franked with the 175th logo. Of course, our captains, our masters and Commodore, they make special noon broadcasts every day regarding the history. Our Queen Mary II's Radarcast will be presenting a special presentation on Queen Mary II throughout the transatlantic season on the quirky history of Cunard. So a lot of great events to celebrate the 175th.
Lots happening.
Absolutely.
Lots happening to celebrate this special occasion. Let's find out what Rachel's up to. Rachel, how's it going over there?
Well, thank you very much, Tris. I have found, I think, a very big fan of Cunard because this is the lovely Sandra.
Hi.
Hello, Sandra.
Hi.
I shouted out to the crowd, anybody been on board? And Sandra said,
Yes. I've been on all 3 of the ships, very luckily.
all 3 of the ships. She's just greedy. And I said, which one is your favourite? And you said?
Whichever one I'm on at the time.
And you're going on again, aren't you?
Yes, we are. We're very lucky. We're going on the 175th crossing anniversary. sailing from Southampton on the 2nd of July and coming into Liverpool.
Yay!
4th, yeah, so we're really looking forward to that, sailing into Liverpool.
Well, Sandra, I'm sure that now you are worldwide famous. I don't think there'll be as many crowds waiting for you when you do actually come back in.
No.
But give Liverpool a wave anyway, won't you?
Yeah. Hi, Liverpool! And hi, ships.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, she's off. She's eager to keep watching. Right, back to you, lovely Tris.
Thank you, Rach. Looks fantastic over there, doesn't it? Everyone's having such a great time. Lovely to hear that lady's experience, having been on all 3 ships.
Absolutely, and wandering around the famous Pierhead, the UNESCO World Heritage Site, last evening. I met a few guests from Queen Mary 2, and a few guests who recognised me from when they sailed on board Queen Mary 2. So, and you can just hear the buzz from the crowd down here on the Wirral side. So if you're on the Wirral side or if you're on the Liverpool side, the views are just absolutely fantastic. And you can see the Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria gradually coming forward there to join the arrowhead right in front of the Cunard building.
That's a great shot there from our helicopter. She's zooming in now. This is great, so we can still see the passengers on the bow and on the deck. Queen Mary 2 leading the formation.
Now, it's a tradition on celebratory events that the local tugs will salute with a water spray. And as you can see, the main tug here in Liverpool, just ahead of Queen Mary 2 over here. And that is a nautical salute from the Harbour Authority and the local tugs. Of course, the ships do have thrusters. So this modern age, so they only tend to need to use tugs if the wind, really increases. But we're glad to say that the wind today is treating us wonderfully. So the tugs are not required, just for celebration purposes.
So here we can see the view from the Liverpool side of Queen Mary 2. Amazing view there. And there's another shot from our helicopter. You can see that arrowhead formation almost completed, I would say, Paul. I think they've still got a bit further to go yet. So there's some pretty fancy propulsion systems and bow thrusters at work now, aren't there? How are they holding that position in the water?
Well, they all work together. And that's the one thing the captains will be coordinating is the bow thrusters, the Azipods. The Azipods, now you think the Azipods on Queen Mary 2, there's 4 of them.
What are Azipods?
Azipod, it's like a very large outboard motor under the ship. Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth have 2 Azipods, and they azimuth, they turn 360 degrees, which makes the ship very maneuverable compared to a normal ship. And Queen Mary 2 has 4 Azipods, that 2 are fixed, and then the aft 2 actually azimuth 360 degrees. And each one of these pods weighs the equivalent of a 747 aircraft. Isn't that just
incredible?
Amazing.
Incredible.
Amazing. So all that will be working together, and the one main thing is, of course, is keeping that, I think you said 130 feet difference? Look at
130 metres, then look at that for a shot. Isn't that incredible? So the passengers having literally the time of their life on board, and the crew up there as well, working hard to make sure this all happens smoothly. And isn't it wonderful the crew get to experience this as well?
Well, I've always said one of the most important things in any ship is the crew, and Cunard's famed White Star service, the relationship between our guests and our crew are very special indeed, and our famed White Star service, and it's great to see the crew from all over the world. Of course, Cunard's crews are international, and to see them out there enjoying this event as well, along with our guests, is absolutely fantastic. Because and of course, our crew members, they go between ships, they don't tend to stay on one ship, so and they're always trying to pick out maybe a
friend or
yes,
yeah,
or
yeah.
a loved one. You never know, a missing loved one over on the Mersey. But no, it's as well as it gets. It is a very special day for our crew.
So let's not forget, people now are watching this live from all over the world. People joining us today to watch this unique occasion.
And keep those hashtags
Please
coming
keep
in.
those tweets coming in. Hashtag 3 Queens. Keep them coming in. We'd love to hear from you, especially, as we keep saying, any passengers on board one of the ships. Wouldn't that be fantastic to hear from someone on board?
Absolutely. If we
got
can
some
drag
tweets.
you away from the wonderful shot
There
of the
we
Mersey.
go.
We've got a few more coming in now, Tris.
Sat in the library at the University of Tasmania in Australia, looking out for Mum and Dad on Queen Elizabeth. There you go. Liverpool expat watching the live stream from Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. 2 great tweets there.
Well, I think Australia. I wonder if there's anyone out there from New Zealand.
No, now we're
watching.
pushing it.
Now
Aren't we?
we're pushing the envelope now.
South Africa, let's go for it. So let's take a look at our helicopter shots. Now we're almost in the arrowhead formation. Great shots there from our helicopter. You can see the ships closing the gap now. And at this point, Paul, what will the pilots and captains be doing?
Well, Queen Mary 2, I think, is in her position now, so she's formed her position now. So Captain Wells will be keeping Queen Mary 2 fixed in her position, and Captain Clark and Commodore Rind will be now coming forward and gradually bringing the 2 baby queens up to the flagship Queen Mary 2. And of course you see the 2 tugs saluting. There's one tug aft of Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth, and then there's one tug forward of Queen Mary 2. So the main thing for Queen Mary 2 now is that she's in a fixed position, and that will give Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth the course to come in alongside.
So there's the view from the Liverpool side.
Look at that.
Look at the crowds. It's a beautiful view. So there you go. You can see that's a fantastic shot. You can see Queen Mary 2 there leading the formation.
And of course the build-up to this event here in Liverpool, I noticed the Liverpool papers have had a countdown each and every day leading up to today. And it's amazing to think the amount of people here on the Mersey today, on the world side here with us, and also over on the Liverpool side as well.
There go some shots from just above our commentary position. That's again, every shot's been stunning so far. Every shot really is a postcard. That really, for me, that kind of sums it up. That shot. That
absolutely. I mean,
says everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, of course, 4 years. Obviously, the 3 ships have just been around the world. January, as is tradition with Cunard Line. The world voyages. The first ever world voyage was on Laconia in 1922, I think it was. So in January this year, Queen Mary 2, Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria, they circumnavigated the globe, and they all arrived back in Southampton on May the 3rd. And they've been a few voyages, and they've been leading up to today. So itinerary planning as well to get all the 3 ships here today has taken, that was finalised about 18 months ago, but planning wise this has been worked on for the last 4 years from our Cunard Line head office, of course, our marine department and itinerary planning department as well. So a lot of work behind the scenes from Cunard Line, leading up to, of course, the great relationship with the Port Authority here, Liverpool City Council, Borough Council, and culminating in what this million people are seeing today here. So
I just saw a shot of the 3 Graces, and it would appear the crowds are getting even bigger. And there's
they
a lovely
are.
shot.
I think I've never seen anything like this before.
So there's a beautiful shot of Queen Victoria. Again, you can see the passengers out on the bow, lining the balconies. There's another shot of all 3 ships together there.
I wonder how many bottles of champagne have been consumed.
Quite a few.
So far
during
today.
and afterwards, I think, to celebrate. And let's not forget, in around just over 10 minutes, I make it. We'll get a precise timing for you. The Red Arrows will be on their way from Wales. They'll do a fly past heading down to Blackpool. And there is the Arrowhead. Enjoy that moment as the three Queens have come together in Liverpool.
This, of course, the culmination of Cunard's 175th year. Not a lot of space in between those ships, Tris. I'm glad I'm not driving today, that's for sure.
Look, we can see just how close they are from that shot. And to cap it all, the sun is actually trying to come out as well.
Well, that was those tweets from Australia.
It was
I
a
think
tweet
that
from
did that. Thank
Australia.
you, Australia.
Perfectly timed. So I believe they're going to hold this position for a little while for some photo opportunities for the press. And then they're going to go three abreast.
Three abreast, that was the surprise today.
Never been done before.
No, never been done before, not in Southampton water or New York. This is another first that everyone on board the ships, of course, and these million people that are here today are witnessing for the first time.
And they've dredged the Mersey, especially for this event.
Absolutely. Like I say, Queen Mary II, her draft is, she's a lot deeper in the water than Queen Victoria or Queen Elizabeth, so the Mersey's been specially dredged for this event today. So once again, we have a big thank you to say to the City of Liverpool.
So we've got a great spectacle here. The passengers of the ships are actually waving to each other. Not often we get a chance to do that, is it?
Not
Queen
at
Mary
all.
and Queen Elizabeth, the passengers are waving.
So the champagne will be flowing. There'll probably be some, I think, of course, we're in the city of the Fab Four, so I'm sure there'll be some wonderful Beatles music playing over the open decks. And there's always a competition, really, when any of the ships are in together, and especially today, is which ship can make the most noise. So I'm sure the guests on all decks will be trying to outdo the other ships today. So
obviously you spent a lot of time on Queen Mary II. What was it like sitting here and looking at her perform this amazing dance in the water?
it's fun. I've been with Queen Mary II for 7 years now. Wherever she goes in the world, she draws the crowds. She's like a fantastic opera star, a famous opera star. She wherever she goes, she always turns heads.
And she's turning heads today. Now they are going three abreast in line with the Cunard building, which is a fantastic building, part of the Three Graces here in Liverpool. So let's take a look inside.
Cunard building was built in 1914, completed in 1917. Soon after, Cunard moved into the building to operate the fleet. The Three Graces are built on St George's Dock Basin, and the first building to be built out of the Three Graces was the Port of Liverpool. Then the Liver building was built, and then, of course, Cunard. We've still got a piece of the dock. I think it's the only piece now in Liverpool that you can see. Cunard building's a Grade 2 listed star building. It was designed by Willink and Thickness. Some of the designs you can see around you now are the golden eagles in the corners of the roof, which commemorate the first postal service between Britain and America, which was carried on Cunard ships. Cunard is wider at the back than it is at the front, and people think it was because it was built to be the shape of a ship, but it wasn't. It was just the space that we were left to build the building in. The doors behind me, every Cunard passenger had to come through those doors. This was the check-in area for Cunard. Once your tickets had been checked and we knew what type of a passenger you were then directed to a different part of the building. There would have been many thousands of people, depending on what ship they were going on, of course. Any of the fleet at that time would use Liverpool passenger ships and cargo ships. The passenger terminal would have serviced floating palaces, Mauritania, Aquitania and Lusitania. It was very rare in them days that there wasn't a Cunard ship at the dock or waiting to come into the dock. The boardroom was where all the major decisions were taken for the future Cunard ships that were going to be built and the ships that were in service at that time. Most importantly, the Queen Mary was designed from that 5th floor boardroom. There are some conference suites we use them for now, but they were on the 6th floor. They were for the first class passengers, where they were taken up to the 6th floor and entertained whilst waiting to board the ship. There is a baggage suite downstairs in the basement, very large room, so you can understand the capacity of the baggage that was coming into the building. There was a train that used to come into the building delivering the baggage from the likes of the Adelphi Hotel, where first class passengers would stay the night before. I think we do have ghosts. I've never seen them, but it has been reported to me by our night security staff after midnight. They've heard a lady singing. Because they're on their own in the building, they don't use the lifts, so they walk up the stairs. And when they get to the 2nd floor, they open the ladies' toilets and the singing stops.
Amazing history of the Cunard building, and amazing shots here as we're coming to you live from Liverpool.
Look
and we
at
can
that
see
shot
the
there.
3 Queens together for the first time here in Liverpool. Queen Mary II leading, Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth either side of her, around 130 metres apart, as they come abreast the final formation of today. Very shortly, we'll be joined by the Red Arrows. But before that, let's find out from Rachel how it's going on the Liverpool side of the Mersey. Rach, over to you.
Those ship's whistles, when they blow, are just amazing, aren't they? They sound so euphoric. So, of course, it all started here with Samuel Cunard, and operations were moved here to the magnificent Cunard building. But can you imagine, if he was alive today, would he ever have imagined that all of these people would have been totally in love, in awe with his magnificent ships, that people would have turned out just to get a glimpse of them doing their dance in the water? I'm sure he would be very surprised, you know. It's amazing, isn't it, how things turn out? And those ships today have provided so much entertainment. There's a feel of sort of love and joy in the air, which you don't get at many events. And I've been talking to a lot of the crowds and saying, why have you come here today? And they just said, well, because this is their home. This is where they belong. And we want to be part of it, and it's part of history. And of course, many people as well have been on board and have so many wonderful memories. I myself was on Queen Elizabeth, and it was just incredible. I might have had a glass or two of that champagne you were talking about, Tris. Not like me. And I did make Sandra, our previous lady, laugh when I said, apparently, isn't it amazing how they float on the water? And she said, it's a good job, isn't it? I'll hand you back to Tris with that thought.
We'll talk back.
Well, look at that, absolutely amazing. I mean, the atmosphere on board the ships, it's fantastic along the Mersey, and the atmosphere on board the ships. Now, the anticipation, of course, of the Red Arrows. I think we're in just over 5 minutes' time. We expect the Red Arrows to salute the 3 Queens. So we'll have 9 arrows, 3 Queens, and 1 magnificent city very shortly indeed. And you can just feel the anticipation building in regards to the arrival of the Red Arrows, and they're coming up from their base in Lincolnshire. And what a sight that will be. Looking back in the 175th history, of course, the air and maritime marriages. Today we marry the famous Red Arrows display team with the Three Queens, and of course QE2 again. We must remember her. She's much loved. Cunard and Concorde had a fantastic relationship for many years, and Cunard actually purchased more tickets on Concorde than anyone else. So there's another first for Cunard. Trish, just look at these pictures again, feeding
Beautiful,
live, of course,
shots
to the world.
Aware any minute now we're going to be interrupted, as you said, by the Red Arrows doing a fly past. 9 jets, 3 Queens, very shortly about to happen. The Red Arrows are currently inbound. They're on their way to Blackpool. They're going to fly past once only.
Once
so
only?
Very shortly we should see them. I think they're coming. They'll be coming from this direction, so we should see them literally. You blink and you miss them though.
Okay. I would love to have been a Red Arrows pilot. Imagine flying over today. Smoke on, smoke off. I'd love to do that.
I think that's another programme we could do. So as we can see behind us, actually, they're now in position. Beautiful shots. I don't know if we can see from... Okay. We're just waiting for our helicopter to climb higher.
Oh, of course, we need to get
to
those
make
out of the
way
way
for the Red Arrows who are going to fly across.
So they'll be climbing to 1,500 feet, the helicopters.
Here's a shot from our studio now. Look at this for a fantastic shot. This is a great shot. See a lot of activity in the water around the Three Queens at the moment. As we wait for the Red Arrows, we should hear them very shortly. 13:51, they're due to come over. Hashtag Three Queens. Please tweet us from wherever you are in the world. We had a fantastic tweet earlier from someone to their parents on board one of the ships. So
Queen
please,
Elizabeth, yeah.
Please tweet us.
There's another one coming now.
Here's another one coming from Johannesburg. Another one here coming in from, we can't see where that's from, Guildford. That's a bit closer to home, isn't it?
My word, we are getting exotic. Hello, Guildford.
Can we have one from Scotland, please, as well? I think we need someone from the north now. Isle of Man, we got one in from the Isle of Man. Brings back fond memories of the Three Queens, New York City, 2008.
2008.
Were you there for that one?
I was. Another great day. Well, we're counting down now, of course, to the Red Arrows, and all the guests and crew on the ships. There will be broadcasts made to them telling them that the imminent arrival of the Red Arrows. And we've got another heli shot there, Trish.
So again, a lot higher now. So the helicopter makes way for the Red Arrows. We're at 1,500 feet above sea level. The Red Arrows are coming in at 500 feet. 9 jets coming across from Wales, flying over, heading down to Blackpool for an air display. So they've...
Isn't that nice of them to swing by? Isn't that nice to
do you think they'll do that for my birthday?
And join our celebration? Well, we can ask them, yeah.
People out there on the roof on the balcony. I think that looks like one of the... Can we see that from here? Not sure where that is. I think it might be the Liver building. So they've got a fantastic view from there. The history of the Three Graces. Lots of photographs. I think they're waving to us. Yeah, we can wave back to them. Yes, they are waving.
They're watching us. Well, isn't that marvellous?
What a great view they've got. Now look at this. Another shot from a helicopter. Again, the sun is out.
The sun is out. The culmination of Cunard's 175th year tryst. Pierhead, the Three Graces, the Three Queens, Queen Mary II, Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth, and shortly the Red Arrows. It just doesn't get any better.
Three Queens, 9 jets, all at once here in Liverpool. We are looking out for them at the moment. We can't hear anything yet. Any minute, we are standing by for the Red Arrows. Red 1, where are you? He's on his way. I think it only takes him a couple of minutes to get here from Wales.
I think it won't take them very long, yeah. And look at that, the sun has come out.
The sun has come out.
Over the Mersey.
The sun is out. And behind us we can see the Three Queens
The youngest fleet
abreast.
in the industry. The youngest fleet in the industry.
The youngest fleet.
Absolutely.
They're waiting. We've just had a signal that the red arrows are inbound. So any minute now we should see them.
And they'll be coming
right,
over our heads, I think.
Right
Chris.
over our head. So we're just going to wait now for a few seconds to wait for the 9 red arrows coming over the 3 Queens here on the Mersey. A unique event. And wherever you are in the world watching this, it really, there
Here they are.
Here are the red arrows. Truly fantastic.
I have goosebumps.
I have goosebumps. I've seen the red arrows quite a few times, but they never cease to amaze me.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
What a remarkable day, a remarkable sight, and we're so glad that the world has been watching Cunard's 175th celebration today, Tris.
And
that
of course,
was magical.
That was magical. And of course, if you're on board as well, they're literally right over your head. So that would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Unbelievable.
They were originally due to fly down the river, but they changed their plan at last minute and shot across that way. So if you're on board the ship at that moment, it would have been fantastic. For us here as spectators, it's fantastic. And if you're on Rachel's side of the bank, I bet, incredible view from there.
Well, I'm sure Rachel enjoyed that. Yes, I think they flew right over Rachel.
So let's take a look at a shot from our helicopter. She can probably drop down a bit now. The red arrows have gone on their way to Blackpool. And the 3 Queens are 3 abreast on the Mersey for the first time. I know I keep saying it's the first time, but we mustn't forget, must we, that this is a
the
unique...
stuff of maritime legends. It just... I want to go on a Cunard voyage now, absolutely. And of course, Queen Mary 2 will be returning to Liverpool on July the 4th. Yes, so that's when we begin, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I think, can we hear Rachel?
I think we should. Rachel, how did the crowd like the red arrows?
It's amazing. As soon as those boys fly over, everybody just literally, sorry, that was in your ear, screams loudly. It does give you goosebumps, doesn't it? And I was waving like they could see me, and clearly they couldn't, even though I'm wearing the same colour as them. I love seeing the red arrows, and they just kind of add a regal air, don't they, to proceedings. I mean, they fly over all the important events, the Olympics and all things like that in this country, and then to fly over today, it's kind of the stamp of approval, isn't it? Something that really is wonderful in this country. It's been a fantastic day, hasn't it? Trish, you've been fantastic giving us all these facts and all this knowledge, and it's been so wonderful. That Arrowhead was just amazing, and I have to say that the Liverpool Welsh Choral Choir are going to be singing goodbye in a few moments, and I think there might be a few tears around when they are singing, because it's a very emotional day. Oh, shame to say goodbye, but I do have to say goodbye. Over to you, Tris.
Thank you, Rach. Well, Rach's having a great time over there amongst the crowds.
She might be there for the rest of the day and evening, I think.
But as she mentioned, it is a very emotional experience for a lot of people, even us, seeing the red arrows at that point in time. It gave you goosebumps.
I think it was like a famous movie set. I think it was memorable. Yes.
Everything came together, the choreography, the planning of the last however many years it would take to plan an event like this has come together.
And many thanks to all our team at Cunard Line and everyone aboard the ships, the City of Liverpool, the wonderful pilots here, the Borough Council, everyone. 175 years just culminated in that magic moment when the red arrows flew across over the Cunard fleet and the Cunard building. I'm sure Sir Samuel up there will be very proud.
In his wildest dreams, could he ever have imagined this happening?
Absolutely. Yes.
When he started the Cunard line.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Anyway, we've had a fantastic day here. So let's take a look back at some of the highlights of today's wonderful events. So here we go. A snapshot, really, I guess, Paul, of today. We're looking back at the highlights of what has been a wonderful, a unique occasion, 175 years of the Cunard line. Everything has gone to plan.
Of course, the flagship Queen Mary II went out to greet Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria, then Queen Elizabeth, Commodore Rind in command, led the three ships into the Mersey, and then the amazing choreography with the turn and then abreast, and then of course the arrowhead formation, the first here on the Mersey and for Cunard, and then the anticipation leading up to the red arrows, but that arrowhead manoeuvre right in front of the Cunard building, I think that will be an image that will live for another 175 years, I think.
Well, the amount of photographs have been taken today, the press interest in this has been huge, hasn't it?
And look how close those ships are.
People all over the world have been watching this today, this live event from Liverpool, as the three queens come together for the first time here in Liverpool to celebrate 175 years of Cunard. And there you can see from that shot the three queens.
This is what makes Cunard so special. Days like today.
A unique occasion. And the red arrows, there they are. This literally happened around 5 minutes ago. The red arrows came over the top. 9 jets, 3 queens here in Liverpool. I really don't think it gets much better than that, does it, Paul? Well, I feel privileged to be here, actually, to witness this occasion from the wonderful spot we've had here on the river.
And everyone along the river, whether it be the Wirral side or the Liverpool side, all the guests and crew on board the Cunard Queens. What a day, what a day.
What a day. And Rach, for you, have you had a great day over there?
I've had a great day, Tris, and I have to say it's just got better. I'm happy, that's all I'll say. Yeah, it's been brilliant. But the end is coming. I might have a tear or two. I'm sure the whole of Liverpool are going to have a tear or two. But don't worry, there's still plenty more this afternoon. Bye-bye, Tris.
Thank you, Rach. She's obviously having a great time over there.
She had a wonderful time.
She had a wonderful time. As she said, lots more events coming up this afternoon, later tonight here in Liverpool. As you can see here from our aerial shots, Queen Mary II is about to break. Now she's off, isn't she? She's heading off.
Yeah, Queen Mary II will continue her round Britain and Ireland voyage. She will head down the Mersey now, and then she'll be making course for St Peter Port in Guernsey. So the flagship will be leaving the formation now.
Queen Victoria?
And, Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth will be staying in Liverpool. So if you haven't been down, hopefully you haven't missed today, but you still have a chance to see the other queens, of course, Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth in Liverpool tonight. One will be at anchor, and I think Queen Victoria will be at anchor, and Queen Elizabeth will come alongside. Yes.
So a unique event.
Tris, it's been a joy.
It has been a joy. It has been a joy. We've had the Red Arrows, we've had the Three Queens, we've had the support of everyone here in Liverpool. Everyone's worked together, haven't they, to make this happen. And we mustn't forget the work that has gone on behind the scenes here in Liverpool and with Cunard as well.
Absolutely. And I think from everyone involved in Cunard Line, thank you for watching wherever you are in the world. And you've witnessed maritime history today.
Keep the tweets coming in. Hashtag Three Queens. Please keep those tweets coming in. And it's a big thank you from myself and Paul.
Absolutely.
And Rachel Pearman on the other side of the river. Thank you from everyone here. Thank you for watching wherever you may be in the world. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.